Hello, my name is Veronica Cisneros, and instead of streaming live as it was my intention, I am recording this video with my body camera. I will upload this video and link it to the live stream I recorded in September 27th. That live stream was tampered with. So this is why I'm now pre-recording. And I am reading from the screen just so that I can stick to the script, because I tend to digress and I want to be, I just want to say what I want to say and be as succinct as possible. The original stream, the one that was tampered with, lasted a little over 12 minutes. But soon after I published it, it began to play for over 5 minutes. And I think that those that hacked me and harassed me also modified it to make it look as if I am missing a tooth here. So, like, so if you look at that video, there's a little shadow on my lip that it subtly appears every so often. So I think I look uglier than I am. In any event, I recorded that live stream from a public library using my own hacked equipment, this computer here. And then I tried to redo another intro live stream, but before I redid the live stream, I wanted to test the connection and to see the stream as it casted. So I had a Fire tablet, and although I could see myself in the creator's screen, the message unstable connection kept appearing on the top. So the live streams is mostly a blue screen, or there's one that is 30-something minutes, but is reduced to 2 minutes, and apparently the connection that I get, the Wi-Fi connection I get here in the library, is not good for live streaming. So I have given up on doing that for a couple of weeks while I get a web camera, and I'm thinking that I'll go to a pay gaming center with my web camera, and hopefully I'll have access to a wired computer and do the live streams. So please read this video's description for a link to the 2 tests that I tried to live stream from the Clark County Public Library. As I mentioned already, for over 3 years, I have been the victim of persistent targeted hacking and coordinated harassment. I am publishing this vlog to document what I am experiencing, to raise awareness of this type of abuse, and to raise support to get a lawyer and a fourth then forensic expert. I need a lawyer for a government inquiry on whether they have authored any of these disruptive surveillance and harassment that I experienced. And if no government policy entity has anything to do with this, then I need the lawyer to get support from the government. And the fourth then forensic expert, I needed to have an official examination of a Ford Van Transit 250 that I purchased back in September of 2020 as new from the Ford dealership in Stamford, Connecticut. I believe the vehicle was tampered with before it was handed to me. But what has motivated me to stop procrastinating and actually do the live streams and in any way possible publish to the best of my abilities what I can record that I think is evidence that I am experiencing either harassment, hacking, or whatever else, is that I am facing 2 very troubling situations right now. One is that the packages of purchases that I make through Amazon, arrive with signs of tampering. This is happening whether the packages arrive at a private residence or at a pickup locker hub. I reached out to Amazon's chat support and listed the various incidents, provided video recordings, and pointed to pictures that their own delivery agents had taken as they dropped the packages. And after that chat, the problem was exacerbated. This particular camera, the delivery had been already extended for a few days to a pickup locker hub, and it had been like 5 or 6 days, and it had been extended and delayed. So my belief is that it has been tampered with. I have experienced the battery lasts very little and the device gets very hot. So I was chatting with the support, expressing my concern about the tampering with this camera, and the delivery was further delayed for another day. So at that point, on August 20th of this year, 2022, I reached out to the Better Business Bureau and I filed 2 complaints. Complaint ID 177-443-68 and 177-45429. And up to this day, the business has not responded. In my complaint, I asked the company that if they were cooperating with the government to make sure the agents they are cooperating with are who they say they are. And if they are who they say they are, that they have the proper authorization to rummage through my packages. The second very troubling situation is the disablement. Give me 1 minute. Is the disablement I experienced as I tried to keep myself working to generate income. After I worked for another managed IT company in Hamden, Connecticut called SMB Networks, I decided not to work for any company or person until I solved the persistent hacking and harassment problem that I have. For a few months, I lived in New York City. After I quit SMB Networks, I lived for a few months in New York City, and then I moved to Las Vegas because I have relatives here. But after I ran out of savings, I became a street performer, a singer. Really, I'm just trying to get financially by, just to pay the monthly payments of the van, to pay, my daily expenses, nothing crazy. And while I solve this problem, I do have a college degree. Although I have a heavy accent, I speak good English and I write good English. And I am bilingual, I speak Spanish. But the equipment that I buy through Amazon or just my equipment often fails. And just yesterday, after I had replaced the speakers that I use to sing on the street, I was removed from the WYNN-PALAZZO bridge, Wynn Casino, Palazzo Casino, there's a bridge, and I was cited by the police. I placed a video, with this body camera, I recorded the whole incident, which is broken in 3 parts because I configured the body camera to break the videos on 15 minutes segments. So it took about, the video that I was taking is over half an hour, so it's broken into 3 videos. I link these videos in the description of this video where you're listening to this. Very meta. So you have the links on the description. If you're curious, please go look at them. But this is what I call disablement. I call disablement situations in which, despite me doing everything that I can to work, either purchasing equipment or learning songs or making myself outgoing, and something fails. It's either the equipment, which I believe has been tampered with, or is security staff in Fremont Street or is the police on the street. I am disabled from working and from generating income one way or another. So here I'm gonna delve into more details. First, I was performing at Fremont Street, which is an area here in Las Vegas, in downtown, the old downtown of Las Vegas, where there is a huge canopy that has a screen and where they project video, light shows, and music, and there's live music, there are stages and whatnot. So street performers are allowed to perform there under certain conditions. And I decided to not perform there anymore. I was doing actually very good money there, but I stopped performing there because the director of Fremont Street Security and his right-hand Hancho man called, what's his name? So the Fremont Street Security is called Mark Redden, and his right-hand Hancho guy is Warner, began to harass me. First, it was because the power source and speaker type I use, and then when I show up with an outdoor speaker that others are using, that particular speaker, the manual says that is dangerous, and I am the only one who is asked not to use that speaker. I recorded this with this body camera too, so the videos are linked on the description page of this video. Once I was performing at the street at Las Vegas Strip and in the bridges, my equipment began to fail. I think it is important that I explain that to sing in the streets or bridges of the Las Vegas Strip, I am required to keep my equipment off the floor. Otherwise, I could be arrested for storing private property in a public street or for blocking the flow of traffic. So that's what I thought up until yesterday, and I will get to that. Apparently now I need a business license. But to sing on the bridges, I put together a sound system contraption that is composed of a battery, an inverter, a small sound mixer, a mini amplifier, and a pair of passive speakers, and the microphone. And some of this equipment goes inside a fanny pack that I wear like this, fanny pack, just bigger. And it goes on my hips, and then the speakers hang here on the sides. I did some trial and error when I started to use this equipment. That was in October of 2021. I did some trial and error until I got something that up until 2 weeks ago was reliable. And 2 weeks ago, the cable that connects the inverter to the amplifier's AC adapter melted while I was performing. I was singing and I perceived a funny smell, and then I looked down and I see that the cable that connects the inverter to the amplifier was melt from one side. So I replaced the amplifier but the next day, and then I go sing, and although I have a fully charged battery, to me it seemed like the sound began to ebb and flow. So I'd observed that in the past when the battery had been drained. The batteries usually lasted 5 hours. It's a battery with an 18,000 amp hours capacity. The amplifier has a maximum power of 400 watts, a peak power, but I believe it's called MRS, is 200 watts. So the regular operation of the amplifier is 200 watts. And the speaker, each speaker has a maximum capacity of 200 watts, but the normal operation of the speaker is 100 watts per speaker, so a total of 200 for the pair. So after I replaced the amplifier, the sound would begin to ebb and flow after